And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I'm net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 2,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's KC9VKV followed by the word Highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical, more human nature, philosophical kinds of QSOs, such as one of my favorite segments called Something to Crow About, featuring Kenny and his master modulating Rooster Henry. You'll have to check it out. KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. In addition, 2 of the 3 may be rotated separately. They are selected by a 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good audio radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters, and through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this is an area of the band where we have many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. Again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Got a copy?
Yes, Jim, very beautiful copy. You're running a little bit over S9. I'm copying you direct on right now it's overcast, and we had 1 inch of snow this morning, and it's trying to melt. It's up to almost 40 degrees. Now we've had 167 inches of snow for the season. That's a little below normal. We normally completely end up with 167 inches. Do you copy, Jim? KC9VKV, K1GZL, Northern New Hampshire.
Roger, Charlie, you're 35 over on the Milford PASDR. Roger?
The Milford PASDR. Roger?
Okay, real fine. By the way, I had a QSO with Captain Mike, Aeronautical Mobile, and flying on the cargo plane, Boeing 767, as he usually does. And this time he was on the southern route, and I picked him up at 2 different days and different locations. One heading down toward Panama, and the second one coming back from Honduras, Galfa, I think that's how they pronounce it, and he, I believe, was at 38,000 feet. He was just northeast of Honduras, and that's where he came out of, I can't say that word, Alpha, Honduras, and he was southwest of Cuba, heading toward Miami, and here he is a little bit.
For sure. Right now we're showing 536 miles south of Miami. We're just about 180 miles on the north of the shoreline from Honduras, and about looks like just under 300 miles south of the northwestern part of Cuba. But great copy on you there. We're at 38,000. Smooth right now. We were getting bounced around pretty good earlier, but temperature up here is minus 54 degrees. Yeah, a little bit of a headwind, doing about 417 knots. But great copy on you, Charlie. You're doing better than you were this afternoon, so it's good to hear you in there. K1GZL, KX4, Whiskey Charlie.
Okay, Jim, that was Captain Mike. Now, he's going to be off for about 1 month. And then he'll be flying the regular route from Philadelphia to Sacramento, the capital, of course, of California, and then back to and then back to Philadelphia there. So he's got a well-earned vacation, as he has been flying an awful lot lately, and I think he deserves the rest. KC9VKV, K1GZL, if you can still hear me.
Oh, Charlie, perfectly. Just there's still 35 over on Milford. And about Captain Mike's flights down south there, does he consider those like a vacation, since, they're outside of the country?
Like a vacation, since, they're outside of the country?
No, it's part of his regular work. In other words, he delivers cargo from one QTH to another location. It is a carrying of cargo from one place to another. So it's not a vacation, Jim. It's part of his job. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, some of us are luckier than others, I guess, to have jobs where we go, to other countries. But my hat's off to him. He's just a beautiful pilot, Roger. That has a great signal that we have listened to for about 2 years now, Roger.
About 2 years now, Roger.
Yeah, I think it's been at least 2 years. Possibly 2.5 to 3. I'm not sure when the first time I did talk to Captain Mike, but I've had probably a couple hundred contacts with him, and of course, late last or the middle of last November, I think it was late last November, he was up here. And we had a wonderful eyeball QSO. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. He sounds exactly the same in person as he does when he's flying the Boeing 767, or he's at home in Southwest Virginia. That's old Captain Mike. He's right here. It's remarkable how technology is so good these days. The first time I ever heard sideband, I thought it was somebody that was going to get in trouble with the FCC, because the modulation was so terrible listening on an AM receiver. I thought that person was in real trouble. But here we are with improvements on sideband. It's just like you're sitting here. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger, yes. It's amazing the tolerances, particularly the VFO tolerances, how close they have become now that, there is no lag or off-frequency pitches, bends, ups or downs. They're just right dead on, so you just sound absolutely just like a AM broadcast station, Roger.
Absolutely, just like a AM broadcast station, Roger.
Well, that's thank you so much for that report. I'd rather have, if I don't have a lot of super compression, which can give you more signal, sure, but restricts the voice. It considerably restricts the voice to a certain higher frequency to punch through. I'd rather sound like myself. In other words, go meet somebody, says, "Oh, I know who you are. You're K1GZL." Because the transference of the natural voice to me is the best. But however, if you're a contester, I certainly can see where amplification of certain frequencies of the voice, provided it's not done too much, the amplification of the voice does help you get more points. But I'm more of a rag chewer, and I just like to sound reasonably like myself, Jim. Look, I won't hold you any longer. I realize there may be many people, fellows out there, gals, or whoever, that would like to test out, there goes my voice, test out their rigs. So I'll sign with you on this one and hopefully see you next Friday. And I think by that time we'll lose more of our snow. We're still about 70-80% snow covered. And as I mentioned previously, we had an inch this morning of very wet snow, which did not occur 1,000 feet down. They did not get it. They had rain. KC9VKV, K1GZNL.
Roger, Charlie. 73, sir, and your audio signal is just beautiful. 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average modulation, peak modulation is 80 to 85%. You go any further and you'll start blurring words, so you're just at that ideal place, and your curve is very intelligible audio-wise. So let me say 73 up that way, Charlie, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll be posting this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And that'll take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. And also we have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature, philosophical kinds of QSOs. So there you go. And let's move along now. If you have a radio that you want to check out, give me a shout.
This is Kilo Fox 7 Charlie Golf. It might help if you know that I'm in Tennessee. The antenna is a 43-foot random vertical. That's all I've been able to get up recently. So that'll give you a little idea on what the antenna is. And I'm running barefoot, so doesn't give you a lot of hope. I was just hoping my audio was decent.
Sounds pretty good there. I found you down on my Georgia SDR. You're about 10 over on my Georgia SDR, so we've got good communications there. Come back and with your name now, please.
Communications there. Come back and with your name now, please.
Okay, the name here is David. Delta Able Victor Item Delta. So I'm glad I'm getting into one receiver or another. This is an FT991A.
FT991A, roger that. And you're down in Tennessee. What part of Tennessee are you in?
Hey, roger that. And you're down in Tennessee. What part of Tennessee are you in?
I am 40 miles, give or take a little, north of Nashville. If you got a map up, you see where 65 crosses the Kentucky border. I'm about 2 miles to the east of that, in that, just on the edge of that little notch in the border.
Roger. We're doing pretty good there for that location. Usually, that would, be pretty close for me to copy you, but I have got a good copy since I'm using the Georgia SDR. Well, if you're interested in a setup procedure, we could start with you engaging your compressor at a 3. If you would be interested in a setup procedure, compression on and at a 3, Roger.
And a setup procedure, compression on and at a 3, Roger.
Okay, I'll put compression on at a 3. Got the equalizer set at high recommended settings. So the pamphlet they put out with the headset's got an error in it. It says 400 where it should be 900. Nice of them to help out that way. I'll take a moment and set the processor up.
All right, sir. Yes, a token amount. A 3 is a token amount, but on the other hand, a 3 and a 6 are, as far as working on the actual word, a 3 and a 6 are the same, except you get suck up between the words on a 6, which we're not interested in. So that's why we have picked a 3 as our compression level to help us on our way to achieving a 3 dB dynamic range, which incidentally you're pretty close. So now that we have our compressor on at a 3, let's move to the pardon me just a moment, I'll be right back.
Pardon me just a moment, I'll be right back.
Sorry about that, a little distraction. Okay, we're going to our ALC. So with mic gain in hand, bring up your ALC. And the way we're setting that is we use the word audio. And we stretch the audio out for about 4 seconds as you use your mic gain control to achieve a mid-scale to 2/3 reading on your ALC meter. Roger?
Achieve a mid-scale to 2/3 reading on your ALC meter. Roger?
Roger that. I'll try that now. Audio.
And if you need to do that again, it's mainly we're stressing the audio part of the word. Roger?
Stressing the audio part of the word. Roger?
Roger. Audio.
So that looks like mid-scale to 2/3, Roger?
So that looks like mid-scale to 2/3, Roger?
My ALC looks like, it looks like about 3 on the meter.
We're looking for about, with the mid-scale point on the ALC meter, and just a little touch beyond that. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter, Roger?
Beyond that. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter, Roger?
All right, I gotta see what I can do with the mic gain to get it up. Now I got a little more.
Alrighty, so now why don't you tell me about your antenna system one more time there, and as you tell me about your antenna system, and be looking at your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and try to tweak it right there on the mid-scale to 2/3, Roger?
Try to tweak it right there on the mid-scale to 2/3, Roger?
Roger. Audio. Audio.
Alrighty, and how's that looking to you?
Alrighty, and how's that looking to you?
There, that should be a whole lot better. That's coming a whole lot closer to mid-scale. Audio.
Yes, sir. It looks good on my meter. If it looks good on your meter, we'll call it a day on that setup procedure. And on your EQ, I would be inclined to put 2 more clicks boost on treble EQ, plus 2 clicks more boost on the treble EQ part, right? What kind of equalizer do you have? Is it a 3-band?
The treble EQ part, right? What kind of equalizer do you have? Is it a 3-band?
Yes, the FT991A has a built-in 3-band equalizer, and that's where it in that part of the menu setup. I hate these menus, but then again, it saves an awful lot of buttons.
Oh, that's a roger that. So I'll let you get to your equalizer, and then when you do, the main thing is we want to check to be sure that that center frequency EQ is flat. that 1 KC center frequency control should be always flat, because the whole idea of an equalizer is a balance of the top to the bottom, from the top to the mid-range and from the bottom to the mid-range. So the mid-range needs to be flat, because if you boost the mid-range, it's so much harder for the top and the bottom to catch up. So mid-range always flat. Roger?
From the bottom to catch up. So mid-range always flat. Roger?
Roger that. Ohio was actually telling me to do 6 dB cut at 900 hertz.
No. You want to keep your mid-range flat. That's the whole idea behind a microphone, that you want to take advantage of the linear capabilities of the microphone through the mid-ranges. Most microphones can be fairly linear through the mid-ranges. It's at the top and the bottom that you have sometimes discouraging performances. So, just flatten that mid-range to plus or minus 0, and then we'll, balance the top to the mid-range and the bottom to the mid-range. Roger?
Balance the top to the mid-range and the bottom to the mid-range. Roger?
Roger on that. This is it set with a flat mid-range.
Yes, sir. I like that. You're talking about a microphone. If the microphone is an era of 9 dB in the mid-range, you got a terrible microphone, because almost any microphone can be linear through the mid-range. Roger?
Microphone can be linear through the mid-range. Roger?
Roger on that. I don't know what was up with their pamphlet. I guess they had somebody with 10 ears or something.
Okay, David, now I do want you to go back to your ALC. Now, we have made a substantial equalization change, and so anytime you do a EQ change, you need to go back to your ALC and double-check your level, because when we brought that 1 KC from wherever it was back to 0, so I'm sure your gain's pretty hot now, so I want you to use the word audio, and I want you to use your mic level to bring your ALC back to mid-range to 2/3.
Use your mic level to bring your ALC back to mid-range to 2/3.
Roger that. Audio. It's dead on, dead center now.
Alrighty. And tell me the best thing now that you like about your radio, and let me listen to you.
Alrighty. And tell me the best thing now that you like about your radio, and let me listen to you.
Okay, the best thing I like about this radio is it has, from 160 meters all the way up to 70 centimeters, so I've got one box where I'm using it. It's become my primary rig, but I have a rig I use more for contesting, FTDX3000, that I like better because of its receive selectivity. So I'd say the best thing about this one is good selectivity coupled with a wide band range. There aren't too many of those left anymore.
Roger, David. Okay, now I want you to go to your bottom end EQ. And what setting is that bottom end EQ in at the moment?
Setting is that bottom end EQ in at the moment.
Okay, bottom end EQ, the frequency is 200, and it's got an equalization level of -15. Ohio seems to think they've got an awful lot of bass in their dynamic mics.
Yes, sir. Well, I want you to pull that up to about a -8. Pull that up to about a -8. And can you vary the frequency range? Can you change that 200 to a 100?
Can you vary the frequency range? Can you change that 200 to a 100?
I certainly can. There's no problem with that. I can bump it to 100. Just go up and change it.
Okay, change it. And can you also do a width? Can you change the width of that envelope?
Also do a width. Can you change the width of that envelope?
Yes, it's kind of just got strange numbers from 1 to 10, so I don't know exactly what they mean, but I can vary the width as well.
Yes, sir, David. Okay, what we want to do is set the width to a 4. Set the width to a 4. Put it on 100 cycles, and the level would be now like a -8. -8, and we'll come up from there. But right now it will be a minus. Bring it up to a -8. Width is 4. Frequency is 100.
Up to a -8. Width is 4. Frequency is 100.
All right, I have all that. Looking at the ALC, it's still center screen on this.
Roger, roger. Okay, David, I want you to take it up to a -4. On that bottom NDQ, come up to a -4.
4. On that bottom NDQ, come up to a -4.
All right, there we set it a -4.
All right, I want you to go back to your ALC and double-check your ALC level now with that magic word audio.
And double-check your ALC level now with that magic word audio.
Audio. Setting right dead center for me.
Okay, what's your mic level, your actual mic level?
Okay, what's your mic level, your actual mic level?
Let me look and see. Oh, it says 64 on the digital meter here.
Roger. Okay, take that to 55. Take that mic level to 55, Roger, and let me hear you.
Take that mic level to 55, Roger, and let me hear you.
All right, here we are, mic gain of 55.
I think that sounds pretty good. You know, sometimes those ALC meters, they don't move on up as they should, you know, so consequently you can be at that point of pushing them and they're not really going where they should be going. So just out of curiosity, look at your ALC meter again now after we did that last mic revision level and see if you still reading mid-scale to 2/3.
Revision level and see if you still reading mid-scale to 2/3.
Audio. It's mid-scale.
Yeah, but you sound a lot better. So I would run it at 55, just like you are, sir. And gosh, if you got a radio story, I would like to hear a nice 30-second or 60-second radio story, if you might have one.
30-second or 60-second radio story, if you might have one.
Oh, don't have a lot of them, other than that my radio has been operated all over the country, to Florida, to Idaho, where the call's from, back to Ohio, and now down to Tennessee, where this is the last spot. So radio from bouncing around all over.
Well, that sounds like you've put up quite a few antennas, Roger.
Well, that sounds like you've put up quite a few antennas, Roger.
I have put up quite a few. Get my position or out of the semi-horizontal position. There's 40-foot of tower waiting for a new Moseley beam. I've got a 40-plus-year-old Moseley beam that's only about 10 feet off the ground that I can use when I get the wiring back right on it. It had a run-in with a German Shepherd, the wiring, that is. And so, makes an interesting story when you've got big dogs and coax. They think it's a snake and eat it. This is KS7CG.
Roger, David. Okay, back on that bottom NDQ. I want you to bring that bottom NDQ to flat. Bring it to flat, the bottom end EQ. Roger?
Bring it to flat, the bottom end EQ. Roger?
Roger on that. I'm going there now. All right, bottom end EQ is flat.
Alrighty, and let me hear just a few seconds of your audio with that EQ cranked in at flat.
Seconds of your audio with that EQ cranked in at flat.
Okay, I'll give you a little more story. Started out in Florida way back when. Built my own first transmitter. Funny thing, ARRL circuit said it'd run 60-65 watts. Junk TV parts. I got an old big color to scrap. I had to watch my meters to keep from breaking my 75 watt input level. That was fun.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, I think what it was is the color TV circuitry on the picture tube probably took a little more power than the black and white. So you had that advantage of I understand you had a color TV powered transformer, Roger.
So you had a color TV powered transformer, Roger.
That's a Roger. It was out of an old Dumont 27, which at that day and age was a supersized. So big that the power supply, the original, had two 5U4 rectifiers in it. So you knew how much current that thing had to put out. So it was stiff, too. It didn't sag when you pulled the power.
Roger, you say it had two 5U4s?
Roger, you say it had two 5U4s?
Two 5U4s in the power supply. That's kind of, like I said, kind of beefy. And boosted boost from the old circuit was 1,000 volts. So that thing was made to supply power.
Roger, David. I imagine that thing did have quite a bit of output on it. Well, listen, I think we've got you sounding pretty good there. What I want you to do now is I want you to leave your ALC meter out for the next couple of weeks, and as you're talking, for something to do, just look at your ALC meter and try to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot, just using your voice control. Roger?
In the sweet spot, just using your voice control. Roger?
Roger, I'll do that. I think it'll work out real well. Glad to have the help on getting this thing set up. Teaches me it's best to have a good ear out there rather than depend on a manufacturer. And yeah, my power outputs, I'm looking at my meter, and I'm getting a good peak of 100 watts out of this thing most of the time, so I don't guess I'm overdriving it too far. 73, and thanks so much for the help. This is KF7CG.
Roger, David. Now, your audio curve is rolling out there probably about 250 cycles or so. So you could get a little more on the bottom end. But right at the moment, I would say let's go with this and see who salutes, Roger.
Let's go with this and see who salutes, Roger.
Roger.
All right, David, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. We'll be posting this recording up on YouTube by noon tomorrow. So if you want to hear your radio, go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and that will take you to this cut. This will be cut number one of some 2,000 Qso-Vlog audio recordings on a YouTube search, KC9VKV logbook. And we'll have it up by noon tomorrow. 73, David, and you have a great afternoon. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Hello, brother.
The station just backing off. Try a call sign one more time. I just caught you on Georgia.
Station just backing off. Try a call sign one more time. I just caught you on Georgia.
Whiskey 4, Juliet, Bravo.
Whiskey 4, Juliet Bravo, Bravo, Roger. And what's the name there?
Whiskey 4, Juliet Bravo, Bravo, Roger. And what's the name there?
Hey, Jim, name here is Joel, Juliet Oscar Echo Lima. I worked you last Friday or Friday before last. I can't remember now. Over.
Yes, sir. I recognize the call sign. That is Joel. Is that a Roger?
Yes, sir. I recognize the call sign. That is Joel. Is that a Roger?
That's correct. Over.
Roger, Joel. And what's your location?
Roger, Joel. And what's your location?
Located just north of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, west central Alabama. Over.
Roger. And what radio are you running, sir?
Roger. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running a Icon 7300.
Alrighty. Is that the same radio we worked on last week?
Alrighty. Is that the same radio we worked on last week?
That's correct. Over.
Roger. Well, tell me about your antenna system. Let me look and see how we're doing again.
Roger. Well, tell me about your antenna system. Let me look and see how we're doing again.
All right. I'm currently using an off-center fed dipole for 40 meters. It's, I don't know, up 30, 35 feet. And it does very well. No complaints out of it.
Roger, I just went around the horn to see if I could find a better path for us. I'm copying you probably about your 8 over the Georgia SDR noise level, Roger.
You're 8 over the Georgia SDR noise level, Roger.
All right, yeah, sounds good. I've got you about plus 10 over the noise floor. I've got it adjusted. Yeah, you got a really good signal down here. I don't know what your output power is, but it's always good. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, this is a SB220, does a KW, Roger, Roger.
This is a SB220, does a KW, Roger, Roger.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I'm running barefoot, just 100 watts, and so far I've not had any issues with it.
Yeah, 7300 is just, well, it's the radio of the century is what it is. And you're really lucky to have that radio. I mean, the price is just unbelievable for, a radio that is as sophisticated as the 7300 is. And, I have one myself. I haven't, there's an old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I've got a 7300 sitting here in the wings, ready to take over should my radio fail. But I've got a lot of effort in taking care of this radio and getting it set up the way I like it. And those modifications took time to do, and so I follow the adage: if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Roger.
So I follow the adage: if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Roger.
Oh, yeah, I understand 100%. I got out of the hobby for several years, and when I came back, picked the 7300. There were a handful of radios I was looking at, and I finally decided on this one. I don't know how many it had sold, but it was very popular, and at the time it was just under $1,000. You couldn't go wrong, and I have been very pleased with this radio. The only thing I really miss is a second receiver, and I have added a little RSP-1A SDR receiver to it. Not using it right now, but I've spent the past week and evenings trying to get that working. But yeah, like you said, the 7300 is just a phenomenal little radio for the amount of money you pay for it. Over.
Roger. Now, on that second, that's a receiver. So, if you run a second transmitter, you're going to have to put a mute switch in the antenna for the one that's not transmitting to keep that RF from coming in, when you're transmitting on the other radio, Roger.
When you're transmitting on the other radio, Roger.
Yeah, that's right. I don't have it hooked up right now. And I've actually got a mod in the 7300 called a TRX 7300, and it outputs the RF from the 7300 out to the RSP-1A. It's supposed to be buffered. I'm not sure if I trust it or not, but it's supposed to be. Over.
Yeah, roger that. Roger that. Well, double check things because you don't want to have catastrophe waiting in the wings there. So just be sure what you're doing. All right, Joel, sounded really good, sir. I'll let you go and be sure and check out your audio on YouTube tomorrow. It is on a YouTube search, KC9VKV, and followed by the word logbook will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 of a series of 2,000, Roger.
To this recording will be cut number 1 of a series of 2,000, Roger.
All right, Jim. Sounds good. Have a great weekend, and appreciate you letting me get on your Vlog net again. 7-3. It's W4JBB.
Roger, Roger, Joel, 73, sir, and we'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. QRP.
Station QRP, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Station QRP, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Whiskey Alpha 3 Tango Foxtrot Sierra WA3 TFS.
Roger, Roger, TFS. What's the name there?
Roger, Roger, TFS. What's the name there?
Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and located just south of the city of Pittsburgh in western Pennsylvania. And running 5 watts QRP here on a homebrew transceiver. Go ahead.
Okay, and Jim, I'm copying you saying you're running 5 watts at the moment.
I'm copying you saying you're running 5 watts at the moment.
That is correct.
Okay, I'm copying you on Milford. Let me see if I can copy you on my local antenna. Give me a little, about 10 seconds to tell me about your antenna system, and let me listen on my local antenna.
Your antenna system, and let me listen on my local antenna.
Okay, I'm running you 9 plus here into Pittsburgh, but the antenna is loaded L antenna, to about 60 feet, and then slopes down, pointing west to about the 18-foot hole there, about the end of the antenna. So it's actually pointing towards the west here, but you've got a really good signal, so there must be another loaded eastern part of that direction.
Roger, Roger, Joel. Well, I'm sorry, Jim. I went through my selections there, and I have what's called a input source indicator. It's a little chevron on the right-hand side that will show where I am when I go through my rotary selector. I'm running 4 internet SDR receivers. The audio, they're tablets, and you got the audio coming up on a 6-position rotary switch along with my local receiver, and as I search around through them to my local radio, I have indication of lights that show where I am. So you can see what you sounded like in Arlington, in Georgia, and in New York, Roger.
Georgia, and in New York, Roger.
Good. I'll have to take a look at that and see what it sounds like. It's really tell so it's called signal. What's it look like on your spectrum?
Actually, Jim, I've got too much noise to be able to give you an accurate look on my spectrum analyzer. You know, when the signal's down there, are you reading as much noise as you are modulation, Roger?
Are you reading as much noise as you are modulation, Roger?
Understand, yeah. Well, this is a homebrew transceiver, one of many. If you look on my website here, WA3TFS.com, you see a whole bunch of other ones that are on there. And I was just sitting here on the bench working on a new one, a new QRP rig for like parts on the air and portable operation. And just finishing that up. Thanks very much for the signal report, and now I'll look for it on your website here. Back to you, WA3TFS.
Roger, Roger, Jim. Well, gosh, best laid plans of mice and their men. My Milford just told me to get lost, so I'm back on now with Milford, and that was the main one I was copying you with. I had about a 6 dB. Your signal was about 6 dB over the Milford noise level, so there was enough to be able to get a pretty accurate display on my frequency meter. So if you want to take a look at that, it's on the circuit there, and I'll tell you what it is. It has, the spectrum analyzer has 3 white marks on it. The one to the left is 100 cycles. The furthest white mark to the left of the spectrum analyzer is right at the 100 cycle mark. The first mark to the right is 1 kc. Then there's a blank space, which is 2 kc. And then the second mark to the right is 4 kc. Roger, roger.
And then the second mark to the right is 4 kc. Roger, roger.
Very good. I put a too narrow because I'm running full filter in it. Go ahead.
Roger, roger. And why don't you tell me what is the name of that radio that you're building, Roger?
Radio that you're building, Roger.
Well, this rig I'm using is homebrew. The one I'm building is also a homebrew transceiver. And I've actually done a CW version of it, and that'll be published in QST here in the coming months. And this is a single sideband version of it, and it's strictly on 40 meters. But at the moment, it only runs 15 outputs. I'm sure you wouldn't hear me on that one. Go ahead.
Roger, Jim. Well, gosh, just looking at your signal, you look to have about a 2 to 3 dB dynamic range, which is right where you want to be. Looks to be about 2 to 2.5 dB dynamic range. Your audio curve is very crisp, understandable, and that's the way I would want to set that audio up, the EQ curve, because you're always going to be at a disadvantage with QRP, because you're going to have noise, you're going to have sideband visitations, and so you want that audio to be just as intelligible as possible, and that's what you've got, Roger.
And that's what you've got, Roger.
Well, thanks for the report. It's really a simple system in here. I just run the speech amplifier, which is an LM386 IC. Use that as the speech amplifier, using a handheld microphone into it, dynamic. And the output of that feeds into a diode double sideband generator, and then that dumps out to an amplifier stage, and then in through the filter, and then out through the IF and some mixing and so forth, using a DDS system to control the frequencies. And that's about it. So it's a fairly simple system, and seems to work pretty well. I mean, I've built, I think it's probably the 9th version of this thing that I'm working on right now. So I've got quite a few of them built up here and tried different configurations. One of them I built, this radio works 160 through 10 meters, and one of the other ones I built, based on the same design, is 160 through 2 meters. So I like to experiment, like to build that.
Roger, roger, Jim. Well, it's doing a good job. And what did you say your output power was?
Did you say your output power was?
On the radio I'm using right now, it's 5 watts, right on 5 watts. The radio I'm building will also be 5 watts, but at the moment it's only 15 dBm. So it's about 0.4 watts.
Alrighty, roger, roger, Jim. Well, gosh, that 5 watts is getting out, sir. Like I say, I'm using the Milford PA SDR, but I did hear you on some of the other SDRs around the country, so that little 5 watts is doing you a good job. Let me say 73 to you, sir, and thanks for dropping by. Again, if you want to hear that radio, go to YouTube or call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and we'll have it uploaded by tomorrow noon. 73, Jim. Catch you later. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you want to check out, give me a shout.
Uniform Alpha Golf, N4, QA.
Station ending in Gulf. Station ending in Gulf. Come back slowly, phonetically with the call sign.
Ending in Gulf. Golf, come back slowly, phonetically with the call sign.
Station calling ending in Golf. Station calling ending in Golf. Repeat the call sign slowly, phonetically.
Station calling ending in Golf. Repeat the call sign slowly, phonetically.
November 4, Uniform Alpha Golf.
Uniform Alpha Golf, Roger, Roger. What's the name?
Uniform Alpha Golf, Roger, Roger. What's the name?
Good afternoon. His name is Doug.
Uniform Alpha Golf. Try it one more time. You got hit with a lightning strike. One more time on the name, please.
One more time. You got hit with a lightning strike. One more time on the name, please.
Certainly. Name is Doug. Delta Oscar Uniform Golf. Also operates QRT.
All right, Doug, what is your location, sir? Where are you?
Hi, Doug. What is your location, sir? Where are you?
I am in East Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right, I did not copy that. I want you to come right up on that mic and let me hear you, your location.
Location.
I'm running 5 watts on a Yaesu FT817 into an infed dipole, QRT.
Okay, that was FT817. Is that a Roger?
Okay, that was FT817. Is that a Roger?
Correct, Roger that.
All right, Doug, and what's your location, sir?
All right, Doug, and what's your location, sir?
Knoxville, Tennessee. Central East Tennessee, Knoxville.
Roger, Roger, Doug. Well, let's see. Gosh, is that a homebrew QRT? No, that's the FT817, Roger. Well, let's go for the setup procedure. See if we can get a little more audio out of it. Does that unit have a compressor processor? If so, we want to set that up. Turn it on and add a 3. Processor on and add a 3, Roger.
On and add a 3. Processor on and add a 3, Roger.
I'll tell you what, Doug, couldn't copy you that time. Let's try it one more time. Compressor on and add a 3. That's 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, Roger.
And add a 3. That's 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, Roger.
Doug, I can't copy you. I cannot copy you, but let me give you the setup procedure so you can use that when you can. Starts with the compressor on and add a 3, 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, then move to your ALC. The magic word is audio. Audio, and as you say audio, with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC meter to where it reads mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC meter by way of mic gain manipulation, Roger.
Gain manipulation, Roger.
Roger, copy that. Thank you for the information.
Yes, sir, Jim, and I think your EQ curve will do. I think you have a good EQ curve as much as I could hear of it. Sounded really, I think it'll do you a good job. So just keep your EQ the way it is, and again, just double check your ALC there from mid-scale to 2/3, and with your compressor on and add a 3, Roger.
With your compressor on and add a 3, Roger.
Roger that. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Good afternoon. November 4, Uniform Alpha Golf.
Roger, Roger, Doug, 73, sir. Have a good afternoon. And what is your QRT power?
Good afternoon. And what is your QRT power?
5 watts.
Roger, Doug, 5 watts. Let me just note that. I'll try to get that in, but sometimes we have so much information in the title area we can't get all that in. But anyway, I'll try. 73, Doug, and then we'll catch you later, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 1, Juliet Delta Hotel.
Station ending in hotel. Come back slowly phonetically with the call sign.
Come back slowly phonetically with the call sign.
November 1, Juliet Delta Hotel.
Juliet Delta Hotel. Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Delta Hotel. Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Name here is Paul. I'm running about 100 watts on a Flex Radio 6600.
Roger, Roger. Flex 6600. And what's your location, Paul?
100. And what's your location, Paul?
My location is Gloucester, Mass.
Roger, Roger, Paul. Well, our setup procedure starts with a compressor engaged at a 3. 3 out of 30, 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. And if you would like our setup procedure, starts with the compressor engaged on and at a 3 out of 10. Roger?
On and at a 3 out of 10. Roger?
The Flex only has 3 settings on compressing, and I have you on the lowest setting right now.
Yes, sir. That is correct. What do they call that? What do they call the lowest amount of compression?
What do they call the lowest amount of compression?
No, the 3 terms are normal, DX, and DX plus.
Yes, sir. Normal is just fine. Now I'll move to your ALC. I'm assuming you have an ALC and with mic gain in hand, and the word is audio, audio, and as you say the word audio, adjust your mic gain into your ALC as mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
So the Flex 6600 does not have an ALC, but it does have a mic gain, and I'm using an INRAD 650 mic, audio, 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 and my level is about 95.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. We're looking for a 3 dB dynamic range, and that about does it there. It looks good. Just out of curiosity, does the 6600 have a modulation reference?
A modulation reference?
So I'm not quite sure what you mean by modulation reference.
In other words, something to set your modulation level with that will tell you when you are, correct.
Correct.
So the 6600 is the software-defined radio, and I believe that is in the software. You can't really set your modulation level.
Well, gosh, it'd be a strange radio that you couldn't adjust your, there's no reference to your modulation level. Is that correct? You don't have a light, you don't have a meter, you don't have anything, Roger?
A light, you don't have a meter, you don't have anything, Roger?
That is correct. If there is anything, I don't know it, and I do know this radio pretty well, but I won't say I know every part of it.
Yes, sir. Well, you're looking good on that last transmission. You were a 3 dB dynamic range, which is where you want to be. Now, what about on the equalization side? Does it have any kind of equalization?
Any kind of equalization?
Yes, there's quite a bit of equalization available, and I'm running an equalization curve right now with about, what do I got? I got 3 on the 250, I got 5 on the 500, I got 6 on 1K, I got 7 on 2K, I got 5 on 4K, and I'm flat at 8K.
Roger, Roger. Well, normally in our setup, we get the mid-range flat. The whole idea of an equalizer is to balance the top to the mid-range and the bottom to the mid-range. And if you push the mid-range, it's so much harder for the top and the bottom to catch up. So normally we suggest the 1kc mid-range area from, say, 400 cycles to 1.4k to be flat. And then we balance the top to that and the bottom to that. I mean, that's so much so that the ICOM 7300, 7610 don't even put in a mid-range control because they want that to be flat. There's no sense putting it there, if you don't need to change it. So, they don't even put a mid-range control in their EQ, and it's all the top, just two controls, top and bottom EQ, for balance to the mid-range that does not have it has a phantom control, Roger.
It has a phantom control, Roger.
I can take the equalizer off if that would make sense. Over.
Well, is that an 8-band EQ, parametric EQ?
Is that an 8-band EQ, parametric EQ?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, I would put everything between 400 cycles and 1.4K flat. Everything between 400 cycles and 1.4K flat. Roger?
Well, I've got everything flat right now. How does this sound?
Okay, everything is flat. Okay, let's go to the top. So you're doing 2K, 4K, 8K, is that the way that goes?
8K, is that the way that goes?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, on 2K, I go, let's see, 4 bandwidth, 4 band pass at plus 4. So that's 2K, 4 bandwidth, plus 4, Roger?
4 bandwidth plus 4, Roger.
Okay, I don't understand what you mean by 4 bandwidth plus 4. I can raise the 2K equalizer to a level of 4. It goes from 1 to 10. Over.
Yes, sir. Now, I'm just questioning, do you have a parametric EQ which would let you dial in the shape of that EQ curve on that one frequency, Roger? How wide it is?
Frequency, Roger. How wide it is?
No, I do not. I just have the 2K, 1K, 4K. I have to study. That's all I have.
Yes, sir. Okay, so it's not a parametric. It's just a straight EQ. So we do a plus 4 on 2K, Roger. Plus 4 on 2K, Roger.
Plus 4 on 2K, Roger.
Okay, this is plus 4 on 2K. Over.
All right, now I want you to go to 4K plus 6. 4K plus 6, Roger.
4K plus 6, Roger.
Okay, here you are. Audio. It is 4K at 6. Over.
Yes, sir. Now I want you to go down to the bottom end. The bottom EQ, is that 60-something cycles or is that 100 cycles?
60-something cycles or is that 100 cycles?
That is 63, sir.
Okay, so go to your 120 plus 3. 120 plus, well, whatever it is, the one up from the bottom, plus 3.
The one up from the bottom, plus 3.
Okay, the one up from the bottom is 125. I have it at plus 3. Audio. Over.
All right, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around, see if I can get you on my local antenna, Roger.
And see if I can get you on my local antenna, Roger.
So the 14-meter vertical with 32 10-meter radials and ground rods, and right now I'm talking to you on a 80-meter loop. You're coming in better on the loop than you are on the vertical, but I'm transmitting to you on the vertical. Over.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's try 2 more clicks bottom end EQ. at that 120 cycle jobber, plus 2 additional from where you are, and let me listen to you.
Know from where you are, and let me listen to you.
Okay, here you go. 125 is set at plus 5 dB. Audio. Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Sounding pretty good. I think I would leave it right there. It sounds really nice. It's got a nice bottom end, not accentuated bottom end, but do have content there around 250 cycles. So it is a nice compromise between a QSO situation and a contest situation. That's the way I like to put it, where the audio can go either way. Roger.
The audio can go either way, Roger.
Well, I appreciate your input. I had heard you a couple times before, and when there wasn't a big group of folks trying to get to you, I figured this was my opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, Paul. 73, sir, and we will be posting this recording up on YouTube by noon tomorrow. So by noon tomorrow, if you go to YouTube, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It will be cut number 1 in a series of 2,000. Roger.
Number 1 in a series of 2,000. Roger.
Thank you very much, sir, and you have a wonderful day. In 1JDH, out.
Roger, Paul. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Got about 15 minutes left. If you have a radio that you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio that you want to check out, give me a shout.
Copying some kind of transmission on my local antenna, station trying and try again.
November 9. Station trying and try again.
November 9, Juliet Delta.
November 9, Juliet Delta. Come back with the name, please.
Juliet Delta. Come back with the name, please.
Yeah, name here is Don, and that's in Fort Bell, South Carolina.
That's Don in South Carolina. Roger.
That's Don in South Carolina. Roger.
QSL.
Roger, Don. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Don. And what radio are you running today, sir?
What radio? Just ICOM 718, and I'm a restricted area. I run attic antenna, homebrew. I am running some wattage, but only 350 because I've been interfering with some things in the house. Over.
Roger. Well, I'm currently copying you on the my Georgia SDR at about 8 over. Roger.
On my Georgia SDR at about 8 over. Roger.
Okay. Well, you're about 9. There's a little fading here, but I appreciate it. Anytime I can get out with this attic antenna, I'm pretty happy with it. But so that's what I have to work with. Over.
Yes, sir. Okay. If you'd be interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. That's a 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Compressor on at 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Roger.
At 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Roger.
Roger, but the problem is on this 718, I can have compressor on or off. There is no adjustment. Right now, I do have compressor on.
Isn't that nice? You wonder why they would do that. You not give you an opportunity to to do what you want to do, but you have to do what they want to do. Well, anyway, Don, let's just leave the compressor off, because what we usually have it set up is a very light amount of compression, only 3 clicks out of 10. So it's something that you'd never hear on the air. So let's just leave that compressor off and move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And the magic word to set your ALC with is audio. Audio. And as you say that word with mic gain in hand, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter by way of mic gain manipulation. Roger?
2/3 on your ALC meter by way of mic gain manipulation. Roger?
Good. Well, I've got compressor off, and let me try this. I think I've got the gain in that area. Over.
Yes, sir. So it should be mid-scale, just a little over mid-scale. Mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
It should be mid-scale, just a little over mid-scale. Mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Yes, Roger. I don't know if the compressor's off right now. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so what you're doing now is setting your ALC level. Whether the compressor's on or off, it doesn't make any difference, because that mic gain will get your ALC where it needs to be. So I'm assuming now you said your compressor is off, which is fine, and so you've now adjusted your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3 by way of saying the magic word audio. Roger?
By way of saying the magic word audio. Roger?
Roger, I'm there. Do you want me to do that again? Over.
Well, you tell me. I want you to get that mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter, Roger. So if you've got that, we're okay.
On your ALC meter, Roger. So if you've got that, we're okay.
I think I have that, but I'm not sure the difference. I mean, yes, there's a difference with compressors on it. It's going to show more on there, but I'm not sure on your end with compressor off how it compares to compressor.
Roger, Don. Now, okay, go to your equalization page. Go now to your equalization page, Roger.
Equalization page. Go now to your equalization page, Roger.
I'm not sure what that is on here, over.
You do not have a variable equalizer on your radio? Is that a Roger?
A variable equalizer on your radio? Is that a Roger?
Right. I've got the mic gain, and I've got the compressor on and off, and I mean, this is kind of an entry-level radio, so, but I'm not sure about the other, over.
Yes, sir, Don. Well, if you have a book, you might look and see if you can find anything about a compressor or a processor. It's the same thing, just some manufacturers call it a processor, some call it a compressor. So you might check with your book and see if you have one of those things. If you do have one of those things, we would want you to set that 2 clicks of top-end EQ boost. 2 clicks boost top-end EQ, Roger?
EQ boost. 2 clicks boost top-end EQ, Roger?
Roger, I have a compressor. I didn't recognize the other. And it is in the book, and I do have an ALC, and I can set that. And right now, I set off of my ALC with it off. Tell me again where you want the ALC.
Okay, ALC should run mid-scale to 2/3 as you say the magic word audio, and you're adjusting your mic gain until your ALC meter reads mid-scale to 2/3.
Your mic gain until your ALC meter reads mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna do that now. I think I've said it 2/3.
Roger. Well, gosh, you kind of faded out to me, but so, and did you say you had EQ or no EQ still?
And did you say you had EQ or no EQ still?
I'm sorry, say again.
Did you say you found some EQ on that radio, that it does have EQ or does not?
Found some EQ on that radio, that it does have EQ or does not?
Okay, my apologies. I'm getting some fading, like you said. I mean, you're strong, and then wait, just say one more time.
Yes, sir. Did you say you found EQ? Did you say you found some EQ, that radio would be running some EQ, or still that radio does not have EQ?
The radio would be running some EQ, or still that radio does not have EQ?
Well, it does not. It has suppressor. It has suppressor. Brand new model has ability to change the compressor, but I cannot change it. I can turn it on and off. I can change my gain, and I do have ALC, so I can do that. But I cannot change the compressor setting.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, and you didn't find any equalization. Is that also, Roger?
And you didn't find any equalization. Is that also, Roger?
Right, that's right.
All right. Just out of curiosity, how close to that microphone are you running it? How close to that microphone are you?
To that microphone are you running it? How close to that microphone are you?
Oh, I'd say about 5 inches, 4 to 5 inches.
Roger. I was hoping maybe we could do something with proximity effect as far as maybe changing the EQ, but I don't want you to get further than 5 inches away from the microphone, because when you do that, then you start picking up room noise and all kinds of stuff. So 4 to 5 inches is where you want to be, Roger.
All kinds of stuff. So 4 to 5 inches is where you want to be, Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
So, Don, I think we're probably about as close as we can get there. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 of a series of 2,000 or so Qso-Vlogs.
It'll be cut number 1 of a series of 2,000 or so Qso-Vlogs.
Okay, I appreciate that. But by the way, though, can you just give me a quick... Is it better for you with the mic gain, with the compressor on or off, but it's off right now?
Gosh, okay, I'll tell you what to do here. Give me a 10 count. Give me a 10 count, and at 5, can you put the compressor in? Come in with it off, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then when you go from 5 to 6, put the compressor on. Roger?
5, and then when you go from 5 to 6, put the compressor on. Roger?
Roger, I'll do that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Compressor on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Roger. Well, it did make a difference. You popped up there probably about 2 dB average boost when you put the compressor on. So I would run with the compressor on. It sounds good, Roger.
I would run with the compressor on. It sounds good, Roger.
Okay, QSL. Well, I appreciate the help. That's great information. I'm sorry. Like I said, this is, the radio works good, but it's a little bit of an entry radio, and I just don't have some of those other controls, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Roger that. Well, sounding good, sir, and I hope you enjoy your recording there. Like I say, we'll have it up by noon tomorrow on the YouTube search, KC9VKV Logbook.
Noon tomorrow on the YouTube search, KC9VKV Logbook.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks again. N9JJD73.
Roger, JJD. This is KC9VKV. I've got room for one more. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shot.
I've got room for one more. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shot.
November 4 Charlie, Romeo Golf.
November 4 Romeo Charlie Golf. Is that a Roger?
Romeo Charlie Golf. Is that a Roger?
Close. November 4 Charlie or Romeo Golf. The name is Andy. Alpha November Delta Yankee.
Roger. Charlie Romeo Golf. Roger.
Roger. Charlie Romeo Golf. Roger.
That's correct. November 4 Charlie Romeo Golf.
I'm fighting dyslexia, I guess. Where are you, Andy?
Dyslexia, I guess. Where are you, Andy?
I am in Maryville, Tennessee, just outside of Knoxville.
Alrighty, and what radio are you running?
Alrighty, and what radio are you running?
Currently using a Kenwood TS590S as in Sam at 100 watts.
Alrighty, if you would be interested in our setup procedure, it begins with a compressor engaged at a 3, a token amount. You'll never hear it on the radio, but it does help us achieve our 3 dB dynamic range, which is the end result of our setup.
3 dB dynamic range, which is the end result of our setup.
Yes, I am running the compressor on the Kenwood as we speak now.
And that's at a 3, Roger?
And that's at a 3, Roger.
Oh, what was the question again?
Compressor on at a 3 level on the compressor.
Compressor on at a 3 level on the compressor.
On the Kenwood here, it's in a percentage number, and I think I've got it at 23%, 24%.
Okay, is that out of 100, so you could put it on 30?
Is that out of 100, so you could put it on 30?
That is correct. So let me look to see where it's at right now currently. Actually, it is on 30. As we speak right now, it's on 30.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, now go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word, audio, I want you to adjust your ALC level for mid-scale to 2/3 as you manipulate your mic gain control. Audio, as you manipulate your mic gain to make your ALC meter read mid-scale to 2/3.
Manipulate your mic gain to make your ALC meter read mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, audio. This is with the compressor off. Audio. This is with the compressor on. Audio, and it is about mid-scale.
Yeah, just leave your compressor on. I think that sounds all right. All right, so just a tad over mid-scale. Mid-scale to 2/3 and the sweet spot is just in between mid-scale and 2/3. Roger?
And the sweet spot is just in between mid-scale and 2/3. Roger?
Okay, so let me adjust it a little bit more. Let's see here. Audio, there we go. It's about halfway right there. Halfway to 2/3.
Yes, sir. Okay, and that's 2/3 is doesn't sound like much, but following halfway, it is. It does put us right on that 3 dB mark usually. So mid-scale to 2/3, and you've done that. Let's go to your ALC. To your equalizer, and we want to crank in. First, I want you to tell me what kind of equalizer you have there, Roger.
First, I want you to tell me what kind of equalizer you have there, Roger.
It's the internal compressor or the internal equalizer on the Kenwood 590S here. And hold on a second, I'll get that pulled up. But I can tell you, I'm definitely boosting some 2.7 and 2.5. But let me pull that up.
Yeah, just tell me what kind it is. Is it 8-band parametric, or 3-band, or whatever?
Is it 8-band parametric, or 3-band, or whatever?
Oh, it's a graphical 8. Let's see here. No, I'm sorry. I think it's a 10-band. Let me look. Hold on one second.
This is a Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, and right now we're working with Andy down in Tennessee to set up his 590S.
Working with Andy down in Tennessee to set up his 590S.
Sorry, it's an 18-band. It's an 18-band compressor equalizer.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, let's do this. I want you to set everything from 400 cycles to 1.4K flat. Everything from 400 cycles to 1.4. Set those controls to the flat position. Roger?
4. Set those controls to the flat position. Roger?
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to have to, for some reason it's not I have to bring it up on my computer, on my laptop, and for some reason, it's not coming up. I don't know why.
All right, let me give you some notes, and you can crank them in when you find the meaning of why.
Crank them in when you find the meaning of why.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, so you want to set everything from 400 cycles to 1.4K flat. And then go to your, if you, do they go like 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K like that, or how does that go up?
2K, 4K, 8K like that, or how does that go up?
So it's on the base side, it starts at 0 and then goes 300, 600, I'm trying to read this here. 300, 600, 900, 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, 2.1, 2.4, 2.7, 3, and then so far, and then on up to 5.1.
All right, well, let's just look at that 2.6K. Yeah, do you have an adjustable bandpass for those, like a parametric?
Adjustable bandpass for those, like a parametric?
Yeah, it's just like a fader, a slider fader for 2.4, 2.7, and 3. That I can slide up and down to +6 or -6 or -10, however how I want it.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's do that 2.6 plus 5 from where it is. 2.6 plus 5 from where it is, Roger.
Where it is. 2.6 plus 5 from where it is, Roger.
Yep, that's how I currently have it. It's at +5.
Plus 5 from where it is. So it'd be plus 10 then. If it was already at a 5, we're going to plus 5 from where it is, we make it a 10, Roger?
Already at a 5, we're going to plus 5 from where it is, we make it a 10, Roger?
Okay, I'm taking notes. Remember, I can't pull it up because the software's not allowing me. This is a new computer, so I'm taking notes here.
Roger. Well, gosh, now, again, one of the most important things is that you consistently address the microphone the same way, because as you come in and out of distance to the microphone, not only is the level shifting, but also the equalization because of your proximity effect. The closer you get, the more bottom end you get. So. And we want to be very, very consistent about being about 5 inches away from that microphone, Roger.
About being about 5 inches away from that microphone, Roger.
Yeah, if I go 5 inches, this is 5 inches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is 5 inches. This right here is about 1 inch.
Oh, well, 1 inch sounds pretty good there. Does that microphone have a windscreen on it?
Oh, well, 1 inch sounds pretty good there. Does that microphone have a windscreen on it?
It does. It's just a black pop filter.
Yes, sir, a foam windscreen. That's perfect, man. So you could work that microphone 1 inch away. Let me hear you at 1 inch away.
So you could work that microphone 1 inch away. Let me hear you at 1 inch away.
Okay, this is 1 inch away. November 4 Charlie, Romeo Golf, 1 inch away.
I wouldn't change a thing, sir. I think you got it right there. That's just perfect. So if you want to hear your recording, if you go to YouTube tomorrow by noontime, we'll have this up there. So you go to YouTube, do a call to search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and this will be cut number 1 of a series of 2,000, Roger?
Logbook, and this will be cut number 1 of a series of 2,000, Roger?
Roger, thank you for your help. You've been very informative, and sorry I couldn't get my software pulled up, but I think I'm very close to what you were going to be suggesting in those areas. But your audio is quite well as well.
Thank you, Andy. And yeah, like I say, I think you've got it there. I don't think you need to even consult your, changing anything. I would leave it just like it is. So work that microphone 1 inch away. What I want you to do, though, over the next couple of weeks, I want you to leave your ALC meter out. so you can look at your ALC meter as you're talking and QSOing, and I want you to develop a relationship between your voice and your ALC, and that over a period of time, and rather rapidly too, you'll be able to keep that ALC meter exactly mid-scale to 2/3 by just your voice. Roger?
Exactly mid-scale to 2/3 by just your voice. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. I see that as we speak now, I'm able to watch that ALC go up and down, and you're right. As I work it closer to the microphone or come back about an inch, I can increase it or decrease it.
Yes, sir, exactly. And wherever you were, even within the range that you were just then, it was just perfect. So let me say 73 there, Andy, a pleasure, and I'm glad you dropped by, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. Love to have you. And like I say, we'll have this up on YouTube tomorrow by noon.
Tomorrow by noon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you for what you do on here to help the amateur operators out and making sure their audio is good and clear and where it's supposed to be. So 73, N4CRG.
Roger, Andy, 73, sir. And with that, I see on the wall by the clock, there's a dead fly, and we got to get out of here. Old joke. So we'll say 73 all, and hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Hope you got something out of it. And again, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call and a search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 of some 2,000 Qso-Vlog audio recordings. So we got to get out of here. We return the frequency now to average, everyday amateur use. This is KC9VKV Clear.